Hi, everybody. You guys have no idea how excited I am to bring this conversation to you. This is Sherry Wild. I just kind of want to give a little bit of background. But first of all, I just want to let you know that this is being brought to you by my book, Spiritual How To. It is available on most Amazons. And this is the podcast, Step into the Light, Step into Your Life. And it is so named because of guests just like Sherry here. I just am really loving the energy of what you've accomplished, Sherry. So let me give you a little bit of background about who Sherry is. You might be wondering. Sherry has been a part of my world for a number of years now. In fact, we met each other in another group. And I guess we can honestly say it was because of your sister we really started that relationship to be far deeper. And for those of you who may or may not know her, that's Sue Miller, a beautiful, incredible artist in her own right and a shaman. And Sherry came into my world because she was really looking for some direction. And at that time, she was a recently retired school teacher, having worked with children and really had incredible, powerful relationships with these young souls and wanted to know how to move forward from that. And what we're going to share with you today is kind of how the world can wake up all around you when you start to go, okay, I want to do something. I just don't know what it is. I need a bit of guidance, and what can it be? And for Sherry in that moment, it was like, okay, I know that my sister's saying, hey, talk to Sandra. And so she did. And what came through immediately for Sherry with the guides, it wasn't through me specifically, it was the beautiful divine guidance, was in essence was to go get a volunteer job at another type of teenage facility. And everything that's unfolded since then, I mean, holy cow. Hey, Sherry? So I'm not going to say it in a nutshell, but I'd love to hear your take on kind of that starting piece there where you were really wondering what you were going to do with your life and how you feel now. Like, wow.
Well, someone in our group several years ago said, and she channels, and when the spirituality and your guides start coming through, and they give you a little bit here and a little bit there, and then you're like, I want more, but it's only on their timeline. But she told me if they were to give you everything that's meant for you, and there's a lot, you wouldn't be able to handle it. Bingo. Absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah. And the last year and a half has been crazy, but it was crazy in pieces. But and it wasn't little pieces, it was big pieces. And I'd tell Sandra and she'd go, pew! I'm like, but then a year and a half ago, I stopped doing classes, and I'm like, I'm being pulled in another direction. And I said, something big's coming. I don't know what it is, but something big's coming.
So can I stop you there?
Yep.
because you've jumped from I had no idea where to go to holy crap, something big is happening. So let's just kind of fill that little piece in a little bit, okay? So in Sue introducing Sherry and I to each other, Sherry started to get to know me, and she jumped into one of my first level programs. And I just like the word level, as you all know, but it was more a spiritual how-to and really touching base with yourself more intimately. She stepped into the energy, and this is probably one of the most powerful things that she did for herself. And this is something that she will tell you to this day, is the two mantras, the I am open and the I am love.
Daily, part of my life.
You want to just maybe expand a little bit on that, and then I'll say what the next step was?
Those two mantras, I don't need to say them, do I? People know.
Only if you want
to. They are a part of me every day. And I'm just so comfortable with them now that it's just, again, who I am, a part of me. And I worked with Sandra religiously for 3 years straight, maybe longer. It might have been longer.
I'm thinking it's longer.
Yeah, we started in 2017.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 18, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I believe it was in 21 that you took a step back. So just so she worked in that one area, and then she stepped into the next part of that, where it was really stepping into, okay, I know who I am now. I've really immersed myself in those 2 mantras. And she used these, I'm telling you, with the things that were going on in her life, that were some pretty major events with her spouse, with her parents, with her sibling, all kinds of energy, with her dogs, cars, everything. She religiously used these 2 mantras, the I am open and I am love. Then she also stepped into what at that time was called the medicine wheel.
Yeah.
And that was holy wow, because now she wasn't connecting necessarily with herself, although yes, it is all part of it. She was starting to connect in with her guides, her team, her posse. So now what happened, Sherry?
My higher self just is there for me daily. As soon as I wake up, I talk to my higher self like my best friend. My higher self is always there when I go to bed at night. Then numerous other guides have, well, there's a few that are with me all the time, but numerous other guides have been in and out of my life. And my guides, for the most part, introduce themselves and give me their names. And it's been just nuts. I mean, I can name them. And I've had 2 Native Americans. One of them is the spirit of the lake that's right here in front of my house. That was just incredible. And the other one is a Native American that from eons ago that I was married to. And I woke up early one morning and I hear red sky. And I'm waking up, I open my eyes and I literally see a Native American in profile. And he was with me for about 9 months. And he was amazing. And others in and out. I have one with me right now whose name is Temwer, and he is a Sumerian giant Sumerian who's here for my protection. And there's a backstory to that one, but just numerous. And the medicine wheel just opened that up. I loved that.
So let me just say another really important piece here. Like, we want to get to the point of the Egypt trip, because this is the highlight of why we came in here. But I would love to have you on way more than just this, because obviously, like Maria Pringle has said, I'm so excited to hear these stories. People want to hear this. People want to know that they're not experiencing bizarre, weird things and they're nuts. So what you're telling them is absolutely perfect, because then they're realizing, oh, okay, I'm not as insane. I wanted to mention, though, too, that in this stepping forward of the guides, there was another little piece to this. There was geometric symbols started to come in. You started to draw geometric symbols. Your hands activated, and you started to trust yourself to an even higher degree, which empowered that relationship with your guides. Would you like to speak about that a little bit?
When my hands start, I would tell Sandra, my hands are tingling. And then I started getting messages, you have hot hands. And I'd ask, what does that mean? That means you've got healing in your hands. And when it was getting to the point where they actually hurt. There was so much energy in them. And then one night, well, I asked my guides to turn it down a bit because it hurt. But it was much later when that I was able to control it, that I actually saw light, electricity between my hands. And I knew that there was real power in that. And I actually got a message from the Sphinx. I tapped while I was there. We tapped into the consciousness of the Sphinx. And this, I wrote it down. I can't find my little booklet. But the message I received from the Sphinx was to use the healing power within my hands to send healing across the world. To continue that. And the Sphinx already knew that I had been requested by my guides and my angels, that I had been doing that before.
Okay. So let's take a gentle step backwards here.
Okay.
I know. We want to dive into this Egypt bit, and it's coming, guys. It's okay. Bear with us. So, in essence, her relationship started to develop. Her power in her hands, her geometric symptoms started to come in. She was continually asking questions, going on journeys in the medicine wheel and what have you, and then some really big awarenesses started to happen during that medicine wheel as you got closer and closer.
And one thing I want to tell people also, when this stuff comes in, it's you. The great thing about being in a group is you can ask other people. You're not going nuts, and believe it. It's divine guidance. It's your guide saying, wake up. You were meant to do this. If you get a chance, go to Kitty Foss for a astrological reading, because what she told me is that this was all meant to be, that I was supposed to open up to all of this in my 50s. And when you're in these groups, you can say, Sandra, this is what happens. Holy crap. I can't believe this. And you can talk to people.
Yeah.
And it's wild and crazy. And I love it.
I know. I love that you love it. So do you remember who was the most impactful guide that came in that started you on that journey of the Egyptian stuff? Because I know that there was some symbols, but then you had some really specific things occur that got you on the journey where, okay, I need to take a step back from the medicine right now and give myself the space to see what wants to come in. So what happened there? Okay,
so again, bizarre. The summer of after my husband was in a bad accident, I had to cancel a big trip that we were going to do. And I was sitting out on my porch. I did tell you about the orb.
Yes.
Yeah. So this light blue orb came out of nowhere. Light blue. No, it was yellow. Excuse me. It was yellow, but around the middle of it was a yellow ring, and it came really close to me, and I'm looking, and there was a face in it. And as the face got closer to me, it was an elderly man with kind of a big nose. And if my sister watches this, I think I did tell her it looked like my great-grandfather, my Grandpa Turner, but it wasn't. But anyway, he said 2 words to me: manifest now. Manifest now. Okay. And then it floated off and disappeared. Manifest now. Okay. All right.
What do I do with that?
Right. Sure. And I'm thinking, good. Then in the meantime, I found this book, and it changed my life. Hypnotist Journey to Atlantis by Sarah Breskman Cosme. And I whipped through this book like no tomorrow. Then I saw, oh, she's got another book out. I ordered it real quick. The Secrets, A Hypnotist Journey to the Secrets of the Sphinx. Okay. Holy crapola. Blew my mind, just like the Atlantis one. And Sarah Breskman Cosme, I saw in here, she has a Facebook page. I went on there and I made some comments. Every time I made a comment, she would answer me. Well, author does that. I'm like, oh, how nice. So we started getting, little comments going back and forth, or, little commentaries. And this went on for a little while. And then she posted this, hey, everybody, I'm planning a trip to Egypt, but whatever, in May of next year. It's a first come, first serve, only taking 30 people. So keep your eyes peeled. And I'm like, oh, wow, wouldn't that be awesome? Oh, whatever, So several weeks went by and I never get up real early in the morning. I'm not an early riser anymore. But I happened to one morning and opened up Facebook and bam, there's the announcement. Today's the day. If you're interested, here's the itinerary and click here if you're interested. I'm like, okay, I'll click. But she's got hundreds, maybe thousands of followers. I clicked. I'm like, thought nothing of it. The very next morning, I get a message. Congratulations, you're in. Click here to put your deposit on. I went, oh my God. Oh my God.
Things just got real.
Yeah. Well, since I canceled that trip with my husband, I had a little money. So I clicked and put the deposit down. I'm like, this is eerie. And I got tingles all over. Manifest now. And I got in.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
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 I didn't tell my husband about this. He was in rehab that summer. I didn't tell him until he came home. It was like 2 months later. He wasn't real thrilled about this, but I'm like, well, I'm going.
Can I just I want to make a little side note here. I'd love to talk about a side note of the book that it was so comical. Sherry had been talking about Sarah Breskman Cosme for like months, and I was, in essence, pretty well ignoring you. And then my own experience with her third book,
Yes,
the one about the Trail to the Stars.
Yeah, and I had already read it.
Yeah, and that was the one I think that you had originally read, the very, very first one, possibly even. I'm not
the
sure.
third one.
It was the third one? Okay. So there was that's one of the ways I really connected in with Sarah. Having said that, what you just said about, you booked this trip, he wasn't happy about it. However, this was a life-changing trip. I literally write about that same type of experience, I believe, in this book that I experienced, where I booked a trip to go do a basic shaman course, found out I was doing everything already anyway, and my husband was so PO'd about it, yet it changed my life, and it changed our life. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? Take those big, bold, courageous moves and do it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So what unfolded from there? You went. What happened when you went?
I went, and I wasn't afraid. I went by myself. I knew nobody. I talked to Sarah a few times, and she is the sweetest person on earth. I mean, she's on Gaia all the time, and we're really good friends now. And if anyone knows Suzanne Spooner, the two of them are way up in the QHHT, the Dolores Cannon.
Let's just take a moment. QHHT, what is that? Let people know, because that's really important with books, right?
Yes, quantum healing hypnosis technique. It's the type of hypnosis that Dolores Cannon taught. I am a level 1 practitioner now. I'm really excited about it. And it's a wonderful past life regression and healing modality.
Yeah. So with the 2 books that Sherry mentioned and the third one that I mentioned, like I'm just coming from the perspective of the one I mentioned, when it was the Trail to the Stars, she was doing hypnosis with people and they were revealing past lives where
Yes.
I've actually now gone and driven in my vehicle on the Trail of Tears through the states, starting up in Montana and going down. And it is incredible the amount of information that's come from these people and their past lives. So this is what Sherry learned with these 2 first books, The Atlantis and then The Sphinx.
I was a blue avian in Atlantis, and I have a picture of one if you don't know what that is. Oh,
Nope.
if I can find it.
As you're looking it up, I'll just explain this a little bit more deeply. So Sarah Breskman Cosme does hypnosis where she takes people under and they speak about their past lifetimes. And these are real life experiences in these 3 books, both The Sphinx, The Atlantis, and The Trail to the Stars, of people in these lifetimes. And so this is now what Sherry has gone and trained in. So she's gone from the retired school teacher who has no idea what she's going to do, to connecting intimately with herself, to developing a relationship with her guides, to going, here, manifest what you want next, to going to Egypt, to now having the training to be the level 1 in this modality. It just blows me absolutely away. And for sure, I'll post the names and the author. It's one author, same author on all 3 of these books.
Yes. Yeah. Now she's got a 4th book coming out within the next couple of months, and the topic is Avalon, in Old England, and I can't wait for that. But I can't find it, of course.
That's okay.
Oh, nope, here it is.
Oh, because now you've got it, right? Over. There you go. Wow. Beautiful. Perfect. So tell us a little bit about that.
The blue avians are, I forgot what planet they're from. And I've had a couple of visions of myself in Atlantis, but nothing, just quick ones. And Sarah told me, she said, if you ever get anything really concrete, let her know. But that's something that my guides, they've withheld from me. Evidently, there's, I don't know. There isn't any purpose. Yeah. It's been mostly the Sumerian and Egyptian connections and yeah, those have been the important ones.
So before Sherry went to Egypt, she was talking about what she just said there, the Sumerian and the Egyptian ones. Like she'd been talking about this probably, I'm guessing probably 9 months, maybe even a year. You've been leading up to this, and it's been happening in the medicine wheel. Then you took the break. You've discovered that Sarah Breskman Cosme was having this excursion. You went to this excursion. You went by yourself, knowing only Sarah at that point, and not very intimately, but now have developed an incredible relationship. And what was? I know by looking at your photos and that, because you and I've been friends for so long now, that she experienced great heat. She experienced great mingling and getting to know a lot of people. And then she also experienced parts of Egypt that most people don't ever get to see.
Right.
So you just kind of
Sarah and Suzanne have a personal friend, Vivian Zaki, is an Egyptian, and she's the guide that they use, and she's been doing. She's also an Egyptologist. She's amazing, lovely, lovely woman. She's been an Egyptologist for over 20 years, and she somehow gets Sarah and Suzanne's groups private access to places that aren't open to the public. Plus, we had private access for 2 hours in the morning at the Sphinx with no other visitors. We had 2 hours access to the Great Pyramid.
I want to just highlight that for a sec.
Yeah.
Okay. So my husband and I went to Tulum in Mexico, and we made sure that we actually, instead of getting on a tour, we caught the local collectivo, and we got there as the gates opened, where there wasn't another soul. There is something so very, very magical when you get to have first access to sites like what Sherry's talking about, and there's nobody else there except for the group that you're with. There's something that it gives you a whole other sense, because when you get the people like ants crawling all around, and not to say that they're allowed to crawl on the stuff, but it's pretty remarkable what you can energetically feel and experience.
Okay. Wow. That's us going up to the Great Pyramid. And let me get it is much older, and same with the Sphinx. The pyramids are not tombs.
Wow.
The Sphinx is much older than 4,500 years. There's no doubt. I know I'm bouncing around, but another thing that I had with the Sphinx, there's tunnels, there's rooms underneath the Sphinx. That's proven. I had a vision of going down underneath. What I saw was like shiny black obsidian. Once I got to the room, black pillars, just shiny. There's nothing down there anymore except for light codes. That area has been empty for a long time. People who are expecting, jars of whatever are mistaken. But anyone that goes down there who's able to read the light codes, and they're not going to be given except for to the right people.
Yeah. So I just want to expand on this a bit too, and thank you for giving me thank you for your patience, for letting me just kind of jump in here. So recognize too that when Sherry went here, it wasn't like she would have been in 2016. If she'd have walked down and went in there in 2016, she would have seen it like any other tourist. She might have been in awe of it and the magicness of it. However, when Sherry went, she'd been intimately working with her guides. And when she went into there, when you hear her say she saw the black obsidian, the black pillars, all of these things, I would like you guys to energetically close your eyes and shift into that awareness of that, because that's what's going on. It's not like, oh, I'm walking in and it looks like a grocery store. No, you're shifting into another dimension, another realm energetically.
and know that you can access the consciousness of the Sphinx, because I've done it here at home too. And it's pretty cool. Another thing that, I want everyone to know that everyone in our group had amazing spiritual abilities. Amazing. And we know, because we were told by an entity that we contacted, all of us had been together before. We were all called to this trip, just like I was. There were certain situations, like several of them had tried to come to Egypt before, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out for them. A couple of people tried to get in on this trip earlier and they were blocked, or they didn't get in, but then someone dropped out and then all of a sudden they were in. And it was very, again, synchronicity worked out for them also. And if I can, I'll read you the message from the entities.
If you feel that that's something you'd like to divulge, then
oh, sure, yeah. It's beautiful. But we did a meditation in between the paws of the Sphinx. And Sarah told us all to bring crystals, some crystals to activate in certain spots around Egypt. So we all pulled out our crystals and talk about synchronicities. I brought up my little rose quartz and my double pointed clear quartz, and I don't know if I'll go into this, but I've used those for other things. And they're just I won't go into it because it gets too wordy, but we had this pile of crystals in the dirt between the paws and in front of that stele, and we're meditating. Now, I didn't see this because I was 2 people back, because there was, again, 30 of us there. And all of a sudden, someone goes, like this. And they're all going to look, and I couldn't see around them. And then someone goes to grab their phone, and then they go, oh. And then they all start chattering, did you see that? Did you see that? Evidently, all the ones closest around, the sand started to shift and a face started forming in the sand and the dirt there. And they said they swear that it looked like the face of an extraterrestrial forming, coming up out of the sand. They said it was the coolest thing. I'm like, I missed it. well, I believe them.
Oh yeah, I would too. I do. Yeah.
But
yeah, read us what the message was if you're open to that. That's beautiful.
It's
you know what? When I said that on my end here, the clock said 33:11, which it comes to 8, which is the infinity.
I have 3:33.
I love it. So as she's looking for that, Sherry has just so many incredible stories to share with us about this. And of course, we only have what we have today for space. So as I mentioned, I would love to have Sherry back on, and we'll hone in on maybe one day specifically, rather than kind of like that journey to there, the synchronicities that occurred to get her to there. And now these beautiful little pieces around the Sphinx energies specifically, and really understanding how powerful each and every one of you are. And taking the opportunity, if something comes up, it pops up, there's a reason why it's popping up for you. Truly there is.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Okay. Someone wrote this really fast, so it's a little difficult to read. Now,
so tell us first of all what this is again, please.
Yep. This was channeled using
Pendulum?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And this is a collective that they call themselves PIM of Alexandria. And let me see here. A seer of ancient times. You all are of the highest vibration, and we are blessed to communicate with you. We are keepers of knowledge and bearers of light. And we are bearers of light and knowledge. We are a team of love. Your group is very special, and we want to share that. This group, meaning our group, is activating and charging not only the third dimension, but also the 10th. With your open hearts and clear minds and love. And and you are shifting the reality to become an open field of light.
Wow.
You think you are activators. We know you are activators. This group has been commissioned to bring in galactic light on a level not seen for a very long time. Although this can feel abstract in understanding, we simply ask to be in your hearts with one another and with these sacred locations in need of your individual and collective light. We are so honored you chose to show up. We love you and will be with you through all time and space.
Wow.
Yeah, that really blew my mind.
Yeah. So it was so interesting because when this opportunity came up for Sherry, she immediately reached out. I don't know who else you reached out to, but I know you immediately reached out to me to see if I wanted to go. It wasn't in the cards. And I on one hand, I'm like, damn. On the other, I'm really recognizing the power of the relationship that the two of us have and how my role is whatever my role is in this. And just I'm loving the power of what you've experienced, and it's just been so remarkable to hear. I mean, we're just kind of giving everybody a nutshell of this. What else did you want to share? Like I know you had a really powerful experience with EC. Did you want to share anything about her?
With who?
EC's or CC, IC's? Isn't that how you say it?
Yeah. Okay. When we were at her temple down in Aswan, most of the carvings are really super high because those temples are huge. And there was one area like this archway that we walked through, you could touch. And I'm just going to say that, most of the visitors are just walking through, looking at everything. And then there's this psychic group. They're all like this, touching, closing our eyes. We're meditating. Everyone's looking at us like, what a bunch of weirdos.
Love it. Living it. I see
we didn't care. Oh, and you're not supposed to do meditations in there, but Vivian at every temple would pay off the guards. So we had privacy to go in like these side alcoves and do our meditations and we got so many downloads. Like it was constant. It was like off the charts, and the visions were off the charts, but different people had different connections to different temples. Yep. And this one was mine. So anyway, I'm walking through this arch, and here's Isis, and I could touch her, and I touched her and closed my eyes, and it was instant. In my third eye, she came alive. like a real person. She was in profile. She actually turned her head, opened her eyes. They were this sparkling blue, like laser blue. She looked right at me, smiled, and I went, oh! And then I was so shocked. I let go and lost contact. And people around me went, what? And I tell everyone, then we kept walking. I'm like, I was so annoyed with myself because I broke contact. I felt like she had a message for me, but we were busy walking. I'm like, felt like I lost an opportunity. And it wasn't until I came home and I'm like, well, what's wrong with you? Make contact with her. So I did. She came right in. She came right in. And I'm not going to go into the whole message because it's a lot. But she called me great mother. Great mother. And there's a reason for it. It's a past life thing. And it goes back way, 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 way far.
Yeah, we're talking pre-human.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. It's it's amazing.
Yeah. Sherry, I've been so thrilled to finally get you on to do this for others to hear, because I had the opportunity to speak to you personally about this. And of course, we're just all over the place in Egypt because of your excursion, your trip. And, ultimately what I'm hearing is this incredible journey that you had and how it is still unfolding. It has spurred you to go and explore further how you can tap into other people's past lives. Mm-hmm. And that's that QHHT. You've got your level 1. I know that there's going to be some opportunities for you in some other places to start to offer that out to others. This podcast is out there for all of you to listen to whenever you're listening to it. You can look up Sherry Wild with her name. Currently, you can find her on Facebook, so there's likelihood she'll be on Facebook for a while. You can reach out to me. I imagine her and I will have a relationship for a very long time. There's work that we'll be doing together because of our galactic energies as well. And just really further exploring. So know that when you make the choice to step into your life, when you choose to go, okay, you know what? I know I want something. I don't know what it is, but I know that I can start somewhere. If you know who that person is that you can start with, or you can ask somebody who to start with, do so. And then start to believe in yourself. Start to believe in yourself, then start to connect with those guides, develop that relationship, and keep having the faith. Keep showing up for yourself. Sherry kept asking questions. And it's just been a miracle what's unfolded for you. Go ahead, Sherry.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't real happy to retire from teaching. It
was your life.
Right. And I was pretty bored there for a while, and I just can't believe I'm where I am, and life is pretty exciting now. And it's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. And
it's just the beginning.
I'd love to talk to anyone about this opportunity. And there is one other experience I'd like to tell people about in the Great Pyramid. I'm going to try to bring up in the King's Chamber. There's people call it a sarcophagus. It's not a sarcophagus. I saw sarcophaguses in other tombs in the Valley of the Kings, and they're humongous. I saw King Tut's and they're amazing. Let's see, I'll go down here.
I could just feel the energy of that experience. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got so much on here.
Yes.
So we had the opportunity, I just call it the granite box. I have too many pictures of my grandkids.
You can't have too many pictures of your grandkids. Did you want to focus in on that and I'll just chat for a minute?
Yeah, chat for a minute.
Okay, for sure. So what's so magical about this is Sherry's gone from, like I said, a retired school teacher who had no idea where she was going to really starting to have some direction. She is literally, even though it's taken a couple years, she's literally on the cusp of even more. Like each of these things that's unfolded, she's brought her to this place where she's so wide open to experiencing what can come through, and know that all of this is for the highest good, for the most benevolent reasons, for the greatest good of all. It's about shifting out of this human concept of things that we so are limiting ourselves with and really opening up. So please tell us about the King's Chamber, did you call it?
Here's the King's Chamber. Oop, do I have to come closer?
Over that. There you go. Up a bit, up a bit, up a bit. There you go, right there. Beautiful.
Okay. All right. So we had the opportunity to get in it. And I think I was the third one to get in it. And I'm like, okay, just do it. Just do it. And I kept thinking, ooh, I wonder how dirty it is. Oh, I hope there's no spiders. Okay, just do it. Just do it. So, okay, it's not a great picture.
There you go, right there. Yeah.
That's me laying in the, and it's so, you can almost see orbs in there, but there is a frequency, a humming, and it's like, and then it went lower. And as soon as I closed my eyes, in my third eye, I'm like, and then my whole body started shaking. Boom, boom. And the eyes just looking at me like a live eye. That was my experience. We each had 3 minutes in there. When Suzanne Spooner touched my foot, when it was time to get out, I was so vibrating, so high. Two people had to help me out. Then, I had to sit.
There you go.
On the wall and close my eyes, and I was still vibrating. I had trouble walking to the wall. And over in the corner, in my third eye, I saw a ladder going up to the top. And then I was getting such a download. And I saw, do you know what music paper with notes on it looks like? That's what was trailing across my third eye, except for they looked like little dashes, like in code. It was some type of code. And it kept going like this across my line of sight in little dashes like this. Just going and going. And that lasted for a good 10, 15 minutes. And I kept going like this. And it was just boom, boom, just kept on going and going. So something. Yep. And then another one of my friends said when hers was bizarre, when she went in there, a pharaoh appeared to her and looked at her like very sternly, like, what are you doing here? And she's like, she felt like she was trespassing. She's like, I'm sorry. It's okay. And so she felt threatened. And other people, everybody had some type of experience. It was incredible. And when we came out of there, the sun was setting. It was beautiful. And this was our last night there, and we're all hugging each other, and fabulous.
Yeah.
It still gives me chills, and to be able to talk about it to people helps me to relive it, and it's so special.
Well, I'm really, really grateful that you're here and you've done this. And like I said, I truly would love to come on, and we'll maybe do a series where we're just focusing on one day at a time, and what your experiences were that day.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, at Karnak, we're running out of time. We were taken back to where they've got Sekhmet locked up, the idol of the statue of Sekhmet, and we had an incredible experience with her, and we got another message from Sekhmet thanking us, and I can go into that too. And
yeah, we could honestly go on and on. I think though, we've given a lot to the audience, and they're just going to have to soak up the energy of what you've shared here and start to step into their lives, and whatever that looks like. Thank you so much, Sherry. This has been very, very magical. I'm so glad we did this.
Oh, me too.
Is there anything you want to wind up with?
When spirit gives you a little bit, absorb it, meditate on it. You might get a little bit more. Be patient, because again, there's always a reason. There's always a reason when you have downtime.
Thank you.
Yep.
Wow. Thank you, Sherry.